To the second part of our video series regarding deploying and managing Kubernetes cluster using Cisco Intersight. In the first video, we deployed and verified our Kubernetes cluster over an ESXi environment. We downloaded the kubeconfig file and we used kubectl to get the status of our master node and worker node. In this video, we will deploy a basic application using kubectl. We will also implement add-on like Kubernetes Dashboard. In the next video, we will do an integration between Intersight Workload Optimizer and our Kubernetes cluster to give us some more insights into our deployment. And we will also implement the Kubernetes cluster using Terraform instead of the Intersight GUI. Regarding the application, we are going to implement something very basic. We will be implementing two pods, Mongo Express and MongoDB. We will be also implementing one internal service and one external service. So in short, the request from the browser will reach to Mongo Express via external service, which will then be forwarded to MongoDB via internal service. So let's start. It looks healthy and we are connected to it. So let's go ahead. You can see that we don't have any pods deployed as of yet. I have my config file, so I'll use those. You can use Helm or any other way to deploy it. Again, for this demonstration, we'll just use the kubectl and deploy them one by one. I'm going to deploy secret first. It has my passwords, then the Mongo pod, then the config map, and then Mongo Express pod. So let's quickly do that. So you can see that it's creating the pod plus it's creating the internal service, since I'm adding that as part of my mongo.yaml file. Now we'll go ahead and apply config map and also Mongo Express. You can see that my MongoDB is already created and Expressway it's creating the container. So hopefully it will be up soon. Yep. So my both of my pods are up, and if I want to look at the IP address, I can use the void command, and you can see that it's using the IP address from the 10.10.1.x range. It was the CIDR range which we defined for pods during our cluster deployment. Similarly, if we look at our services, it should be using from the 10.10.2.x subnet, which was reserved for the services CIDR. So now everything is up and running. My external service, which is the load balancer, is also up, and it's listening at port 30,000. We can use the cluster IP to try to connect to the database. So let's try that quickly. So now I can access my database via Mongo Express, and let's quickly create one database to see if it gets created. So yeah, so looks like everything is working fine. Next is to install the Kubernetes Dashboard and then look at our deployment and our applications. So now we will go ahead and install Kubernetes Dashboard. We will go back to the profile which we created earlier. and we can walk through the workflow. We already created all these, so we'll come to the add-ons. Just click next till we reach the add-on menu. Click add-on. Here we will create the add-on name, so let's call it dashboard. We'll create a policy. Let's create a new one. Next. Here we need to select which one we are going to install. So we are going to use Kubernetes Dashboard. So we'll select that. In the override field, we can give some YAML code snippet that we want to pass to Helm install command. It's an optional field. Under install strategy, we have few options like no action, install only, or always. This is actually the strategy that you choose, which determines your action to be taken in case the Helm release is removed manually. So for example, no action means that install is not going to be performed by this add-on operator. Install only means that the operator ensures add-on is installed once, but if, for example, it's manually removed for any reason, it's not going to be reinstalled. Always means, as the name suggests, that if you manually removed the Helm release, the add-on is always reinstalled. So let's select always, and for upgrade strategy, it's the action needs to be taken in case the add-on configuration is different from what we are running. So you will take the appropriate action accordingly. So let's do always reinstall and create that. So this one is configured, and over here these are the cluster settings for the same, right? So these override your policy settings. So if you have a policy and then you do something different over here, this will take the preference over your policy setting. So we'll leave it with the policy, and we do the next, and we will go ahead and deploy our add-on. So you can see that it's getting deployed. It will take little time, so I'll go ahead and pause the video and we'll come back once it's done. Now our add-on is deployed, and we can see that the status is okay. We can go ahead and access the dashboard, but before we do that, we need a couple of things. We need the load balancer IP address and the token it will ask once we'll try to log in into the dashboard. You can follow the Cisco Intersight Kubernetes user guide. It has a step-by-step process on how to do that. So I've just copied the commands from there for these steps. So this will show me my IP address, which is 0.175. I will also need the token. So, and the file I'm after is the default token. I can use the describe command to get the token and copy it into a file. So let me quickly open that file and copy the token. My bad. So let me quickly copy it. Now we can go ahead and access our dashboard. We'll paste our token. And here is our dashboard. You can see that it's showing the default namespace, and it gives us information around our deployment, around pods, replication sets, services, and config map, persistent volume. So some details around our deployment. The video is not focused on what we can do with the dashboard, but rather how to access it, and then later on how to use it in your environment. So in the next video, we will go ahead and integrate the Intersight workload optimizer with our Kubernetes cluster, and that will show us more insights into our application. So see you guys then. Thank you.